Hey there, it's day 47 of my Life Reboot Challenge. Today, Alfie wants to lay on my lap, so we're gonna let him do that. Today, one of the things I'm thinking about is learning with artificial intelligence, how we make ourselves smarter using AI rather than dumber. So I think we all know someone at work or at school who shamelessly uses AI, and you can tell, or maybe this is like a sibling, a parent, whatever. I want to talk about how it's important to be vigilant that you are still using your critical thinking skills. So one thing I love doing is listening to audibles, and that is a huge wealth and source of information, especially as I like to listen to nonfiction books. And before I start a book, I've been looking online to make sure that that person is an expert in the field and not like a super controversial expert. And I don't mean to say that controversy is bad. I mean, like if I'm reading something about medicine, I want that person to be qualified and to have opinions that are relatively consistent with the new research or the contemporary research. When I listen to audibles, I like to try to do a few things before going to AI, and that is summarizing the book. So one thing I like to do is pretend like I'm summarizing for a friend. So that will help you learn the title and the author, because I read a lot of books and sometimes I forget what the title is, especially when it's really long. And then one sentence to describe it, in your own words, what this book is about, or, what is the main concept. Number two, I like to think about the key takeaways. And even if you forget the terms of things, I think that's okay. You can kind of leave blanks. Having those key takeaways, like from your memory, jotted down, really helps you practice recall, which solidifies your memory. Okay. Hi, Bruce. Hello. And then number three, to check for handouts. Lots of audibles and some print books as well will have handouts or appendices that will give you additional information or exercises. And I like to look back at the chapter titles. That usually helps me remember the content. And then after you've done all of that is when I think AI is really good at filling in the gaps in your memory and possibly your understanding. So after you've already summarized it for a friend, jotted down some key takeaways, and like reviewed any handouts or and looked at those chapter names, that's when I like to use AI, especially if it's been like a month or more after reading it. So what I'll do is I will ask AI to summarize the book. What are some key points? If I forgot in the key takeaways some of the terms, but I remember like what the terms were about, I figure out what those words are at this time. And I think that's super useful. I like to ask AI questions that are like a deeper dive into things. If they mention a concept, I'll ask more about where did that concept begin, or how does it apply to, something that I've heard about or that's relevant to me in my life. Well, my dog was just outside, so he's got some stuff on him. And that's how I like to approach learning with AI, specifically for books that you read or listen to. And I think that if you do that, you will be leveraging AI in the correct way, which is to further deepen and solidify your knowledge.